Oh, hi. There I am. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. You're watching Real Time, where we are live talking about film and television and everything in between. And today, I know I'm just a little bit late, but we're going to be talking about one of the most groundbreaking films of all time to change cinema history forever. Let's check it out. Hey guys, what's up? Mustafa Talib here with Cinema King Productions. Sorry about that little glitch in the beginning, but yeah, today we are talking about none other than, and I know I'm a little bit late to this, like I said already, but we are celebrating and we're going to be talking about Toy Story, the original 1995 first fully animated film that came out to theaters on November 22nd, 1995. And it's funny that exactly 1 month later that we are talking about it today on December 22nd, 2020. But yeah, funny enough, as part of the story, if y'all tuned into yesterday's live stream, I talked about trying to do the live stream. We're glitching again. Wow, a lot of things are happening at once, man. Yes, yesterday. So there was a discussion point where I had purchased a capture card and trying to do other live streams. And one of the live streams that I wanted to do on the day, the 25th anniversary of Toy Story being released to the theater on November 22nd, but I didn't have the capture card with me, so didn't work out. But hey, we're doing it a month later, and it's still an amazing film. It still holds up to today. I mean, it started a trend that we can never go back on in terms of filmmaking and technique, and everything that proceeded after it just got better and better, and that was the milestone to hit. And you had people who were behind it that Disney was taking a risk making this film, and so much more. But I just have a huge love and appreciation for Toy Story, being a child, and such a unique story, a landmark type of story that you don't see anywhere else. Beloved characters, a concept, a simple idea that yeah, when the people go away, the toys do come alive and they have their own adventures. And so to make that into a full-fledged story, incredible and unbelievable. So why do I love it so much? Well, there are a lot of reasons, but namely, it was just the obviously the strong story, the technology, being the first fully animated 3D animated film. Everything was cartoon, right? And then 3D was starting to slowly creep up in in film productions slowly over time. The first fully 3D animated character, I believe, integrated into film. It wasn't Terminator 2, Judgment Day. It was a film before that, and I think it was 1989. I do not recall the film's name, but while this was all happening simultaneously, there was a side project of, can we make a fully 3D animated film with the help of Steve Jobs, the CEO, the former CEO of Apple, and a few others. They made this happen. And I'm going to go over some interesting facts about Toy Story. Of course, I'm rocking my, let's see if you can see it in the side angle real quick. There it is. Pizza Planet t-shirt right there. Again, I got this in time for the original live stream that I was going to do 1 month ago, but here we are, and rocking it today because I got to represent. Of course, got to have Buzz and Woody in the background because they're my homies. They are. It's one of those stories that it's like a buddy comedy, but still a good situation, and there's character, a full on cast of characters, all with different personalities, and it's just like it's so good. It was so good, and like I remember I watched it recently. I was going through like marathon phases, and I had watched that along with the others that came out with it, and I almost cried at the scene where the toy soldiers were doing their mission to find out, what toys are, to be unwrapped. And it's like, I don't know why, it was just so beautiful. The cinematography, the music, the story pushing it all. Like, it was just so beautiful. If y'all have any questions by any chance about Toy Story, or just want to say what's up, I'll be looking over in the live chat, or comment down below as well. I'd really appreciate it. And if y'all are new, welcome. Please consider subscribing to the channel. I'd greatly appreciate that. And like this live stream while you're at it. So some quick facts that I looked up while I was doing my research. Apparently, in the early drafts of Toy Story, Woody, the main character, was supposed to be, first as a character, a jerk, a real nut, not really lovable and likable like he is now. And it was actually Steve Jobs who kind of, even though actually it was brought up in another article here that Aaron Sorkin revealed that Woody was originally as a character based off of Steve Jobs himself. And then when Steve knew about that and he was reading the first draft, he was like, what? He can't be like that. He has to be likable and, relatable. No, we need to change him up. We need to make him more friendly. And so that is a fun fact I didn't know. Another thing is that originally Woody wasn't supposed to be a cowboy. Imagine that. The most iconic cowboy doll in all of cinema history was not supposed to be a cowboy, but he ended up being that iconic character. In fact, he was supposed to be a ventriloquist dummy. Can you imagine? Like, it would not be the same at all whatsoever. Let's see some other fun facts. Buzz Lightyear, originally in the first draft of Toy Story, started out as a Tiny Tin soldier, based off the 1988 Pixar short film that first came out. This is prior to Toy Story. Pixar was, testing things out to see if they can actually do it, to make full-length pieces of content, basically, in fully 3D and full 3D animated fashion. And they pulled it off, and they got an Academy, I believe, an Oscar-winning short film. And then with that, they knew that they can do a feature-length film as well. So they greenlit Toy Story. And another reason why they greenlit Toy Story is because of Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, the full animated, man, this is so many words to say. It's the fully stop-motion animated film. And I believe there was some politics involved with that in between the corporations, and Disney didn't want to they didn't want to take a risk on that. But then because they saw the success of The Nightmare Before Christmas, Disney did collaborate with Pixar to say, okay, let's do it instead. So they made the right call. They made the right call with that. Buzz Lightyear was obviously, actually I don't know if it was obvious, but supposedly his name Buzz came from the astronaut Buzz Aldrin, and so there's that connection there. Tim Allen, and I don't know how this was possible. I do not understand how this was possible. There's nobody else that could do Buzz Lightyear except Tim Allen, but apparently, as a fun fact, Billy Crystal was the first choice to do Buzz Lightyear. And I cannot imagine Billy Crystal doing that. But he himself said that he regretted turning that down because of what Toy Story became. But it was later on through Monsters, Inc. and Monsters University that he was perfect. Billy Crystal was perfect for Mike Wazowski. Such a unique and iconic voice, and to go with that character, I don't think it would have worked with Buzz Lightyear. Just the temperament that Buzz had, the attitude, his position, being, believing that he's a space ranger, and then realizing that he was a toy. I mean, Tim Allen just knocked it out of the park, and one of my favorite characters of all time is Buzz Lightyear. Let's see, anything else? In regards to the second and third Toy Stories, Toy Story 2 was originally set to be a direct-to-video sequel. I did not know that, and I remember reading that, and I was like, wow, it would not be what it is if it was not sent to theater. So, yeah. According to this article here on mentalfloss.com, seeing dollar signs after the 1994 animated sequel, The Return of Jafar, the sequel to Aladdin, pulled an estimated $100 million profit. Disney originally wanted Toy Story 2 to bypass a theatrical release and go directly to DVD. However, during production, it became clear that Toy Story 2 was good enough, and perhaps even more importantly, expensive enough, because direct-to-video movies aren't typically done on the cheap to maximize profits, and cheap isn't something Pixar does, that a full theatrical release was the better option. With less than a year to go before release, the Toy Story 2 team had to retool their story to add an extra 12 minutes of footage in order to make it suitable for a theatrical release. So basically, Toy Story 2 was going to be just a side short story like the other Toy Story short films, shorts, I think they were calling them, but added an extra 12 minutes, and there you go. You got the full-length story right there. And I love the genius behind it, establishing the toys themselves in Andy's room as toys, right, as a community, and then you have in Toy Story 2 an expansion in that universe, but going into each of the main characters' storylines, right? Woody being, a famous doll, right, with his line of other characters, Jesse, Bullseye, and what's his face? Proctor. Oh my goodness, why can I not remember his name? The Proctor. Oh my God, the miner. Why? Prospector. I think that was the name, Prospector. Yeah, and then going into Buzz Lightyear's background, being a space ranger, and then of course Toon Disney did a whole spinoff with that. Was not a fan. I did not enjoy it as a kid watching it. I remember skipping through it, but the movie going into Emperor Zurg, and it very much gave a salute to Star Wars, right? The whole I'm your father shenanigans, and I think that was kind of like a long time coming for Disney to acquire Lucasfilm and the Star Wars franchise eventually, just by having these jokes, play progressively over time. So yeah, amazing stuff. What I also love about Toy Story as a film, which a lot of films are missing nowadays, which is having lovable characters, great dialogue, hitting certain beats, the storytelling itself, right? It's not so manufactured. It seems so organic. It was very natural the way things were progressing in the timeline of the story, whereas I think now it's just being forced so much that it's not genuine and it's just insincere anymore. Something to think about when you're watching these films, at least of the ones of the past, and then comparing them to our present films. Let's see. this is a fun fact, and I kind of knew this to some extent, but whenever Tom Hanks, who voiced Woody, was not available, his brother Jim Hanks would do Woody's voice for everything else except the movie. So when it came to like the toys themselves, the action figures, the TV shows, the other shorts, it would be Tom Hanks' brother who would voice Woody. Such amazing dialogue. I have to talk about that. Like, it's just so good. Like, you know, the confrontation at the end when Woody is, you know, convincing Buzz that he's such a great toy, and you feel that emotion. You feel the I don't know how to describe it. It's just so great. It really is amazing. Like how he's just pouring himself out there and like comes to realize that, yeah, he is so much cooler than himself, right? This is Woody. He was the leader of the pack of, you know, the community of toys in their village in Andy's room. And then Buzz came along and took that all away from him, without Buzz realizing that he did that. And so now he's like, you know, pouring himself and you know, humbling himself like, yeah, you are cool. You are so much better. Why would Andy want to play with me when he has a toy like you, right? I should be the one that's strapped to the rocket. Instead, you know, put the rocket on Buzz to blast him off. It's like so deep and so good. So good, man. I wish they made movies like this, you know? Let's see. What other fun facts? Disney also wanted more human characters. According to Craig Good, a supervising layout artist on Toy Story, Walt Disney Studios had a few professional writers take a crack at the script, but they ended up adding more human characters, mainly kids, and never quite got the fact that the movie was about the toys. This problem was later fixed when a bright kid named Joss Whedon came on board to help with the script. Interesting enough, because a lot of the characters obviously were all toys, so I think introducing Andy and the mom and the other kids made that much easier. This one threw me off. This fact took me by surprise. Pixar tentatively titled the film "You Are a Toy." It does not have the same ring as Toy Story. T-O-Y, toy. Even the poster itself changed, because I remember seeing a cover of a version of the cover, the poster at least, where, you know, Buzz is, you know, flying up and Woody is hanging onto his arm, but he looked very distraught and very like scared. But then they've updated it to make him more, to make Woody's expression be more brightened and like in awe and amazement, like, wow, this is amazing. And, you know, it is more inviting of a movie versus seeing another character being distraught, you know, while another toy is taking flight. So it is fantastic. Buzz's iconic spacesuit was originally red. That's interesting. In his early storyboards for the animated feature, back when Buzz was a wee 6-inch toy instead of his normal 12, his suit was red. After deciding to model it after real spacesuits, the team decided on white with lime green and purple accents. Why those colors? Lime green is my favorite color, and purple is my wife Nancy's favorite color. John Lasseter, the director, said, "Just like she and I, they go really well together." How beautiful is that? That's the beauty. You're supposed to take your personal preferences and, you know, slightly implement them into these realities that we create in these worlds. This is actually also interesting. I'm sure a lot of y'all know about this, the Pixar Theory, right? That all the Pixar movies are in the same universe at different points in time. Regardless of their release date in theaters and to the public, they are still connected, you know, one after another. And there is plenty of videos out there that do connect them in, a single timeline, and it is very interesting. But many of the books on the shelf in Andy's room are names of Pixar's short films. For example, Tin Toy, which was the short that inspired Toy Story. And most of the authors are named after Pixar staff. So behind Woody when he's doing the community announcements before Andy's birthday party, while it's happening downstairs, if you look at the books behind him in that framing, you can see those titles there. Let's see. What else is interesting? I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. Joss Whedon wrote the most memorable line in the film. After reading an early draft of Whedon's Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie that never was, Lasseter was so impressed that he brought the young writer into the writer's room to help with the script. Whedon eventually came up with one of Lasseter's favorite lines in any Pixar movie. "You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity." Wow. And then right there, then he goes, "Farewell," doing the Star Trek Spock signal. Amazing. Buzz was originally very meta, and I hate meta. It's very weird. After Tim Allen had recorded all of his dialogue, it became very clear that they didn't quite match who Buzz was initially. This was especially hard for Doctor, who voiced Buzz for all of the early treatments. I don't know who Doctor was. I think it's referred to earlier in the script. Originally, we thought Buzz was aware of the TV show from which he came from. It was very meta, he said. But once they listened to Allen's take, they rewrote Buzz's dialogue and instead made it so that Buzz didn't know he was a toy from a toy TV show, and therefore his identity issues became the film's running bit. Simple ideas like that are priceless, and they are so amazing to witness and come into fruition. God, so good. Let's see. Interesting. Why isn't Andy's dad around? That is something to consider. Why isn't Andy's dad around? Per Uncrick, Andy's dad has never been relevant to the story. The decision was made really early on in Toy Story to have Andy's dad not be around. We've never addressed it directly, nor have we given any explanation for where he is or why he's absent. However, somebody else offered another explanation. The real answer is that we couldn't afford a dad. Human characters were just hideously expensive and difficult to do in those days, and Andy's dad wasn't necessary for the story. So there you go. Comes down to money. Couldn't afford it. There you go. Another fun fact, actually, I remember that all the kids, if you freeze the frame, when all the kids are about to go into the living room, like Andy's mom is instructing them to open the presents, if you pause, all the kids in there are different forms of Andy, but wearing different, shirts and, different accessories. But if you look at their faces and their body type, it's all Andy. And it's like, wow, you did not notice that as a kid. We do have a couple of questions coming in on the live chat. Who do you think is the most dynamic character in Toy Story? Who is the most dynamic character in this story? I mean, you have obviously Woody, Buzz, Bo Peep, Mr. Potato Head, Slinky, Rex, Ham, RC. That was something actually I want to point out. There is a issue with the storyline. I mean, it works, but continuity-wise, it is incorrect. Earlier in the film, right, you see RC for the first time when the toys are coming alive, when all the kids leave the room. You see RC creeping out of the door, and then he ends up moving around by himself. But then at the end of the film, when they are using RC, when Buzz and Woody are riding him to catch up to the moving van. If you haven't watched the film, spoilers. But yeah, when they're trying to catch up to the moving van, they're using the remote control to speed up and catch up. I mean, it adds to the excitement, I know, like, speed up, and then batteries, they're dying out, and then you see him, like, you know, slowly dying out, and then just, right, halting. But then, yeah, earlier in the movie, he can move around. But then I guess, no, it doesn't make sense, because then in the middle of the movie, just randomly, when Woody does accidentally knock Buzz out of the window, or at least started the chain of events to do that, he did wake up RC with the remote, and then, like, I guess overrided RC's controls over himself, and then hit the bulletin board, and then hit the globe, and then hit the lamp, and then knock Buzz out of the window. But anyway, dynamic character in Toy Story, I will have to say it has to be Woody. He's so expressive. He's so animated as a character. Being a rag doll, just, you know, having that natural motion in his body type, in his dialogue, and his, you know, in his communication. Like, Tom Hanks just did a phenomenal job just being Woody. Man, so many. I'm just having so many, like, flashbacks, like, watching it, and just, like, how I felt just, like, being so immersed and understanding, like, you know, the story that's happening, and just having these characters. Woody shouting at Buzz, trying to really convince him that, you know, underneath the truck at the gas station, that you are a toy. You're not the real Buzz Lightyear. You're an action figure. You are a child's plaything. And then the famous line, you are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity. Farewell. But yeah, man, I think Woody is the most dynamic character. Just, you know, a natural leader. You know, he just naturally has people attract to him. You know, taking care of the group, looking out for everybody. But then at the same time, when somebody else comes along, then he loses his cool. Basically, it's just jealousy, right? And yeah, really good. Wow, you have a lot of figurines behind you. Yes, I did talk about that in yesterday's live stream. If y'all check that out, make sure you look in the playlist of Season 3 of Real Time. I'd greatly appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up and share it with others if y'all haven't tuned in for that. You're really cute. Are you single? I am not. I am taken by the most beautiful person in the universe, and I'm glad to have her by my side. And I know that she's probably watching this and laughing her head off, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. Anyway, back to Toy Story. The movie saved Etch-a-Sketch. I did not know this. I mean, Etch-a-Sketch was an old toy, and they obviously featured it in the movie. I mean, he was a main character, right, in the first one. Ohio Art Company, the company that made Etch-a-Sketch, was nearly bankrupt before Toy Story. After they allowed Etch to be in the film, they saw a 20% sales increase that saved the company. So there you go, marketing for you. And truth be told, it was the highest grossing film of 1995. Believe it or not, it grossed over $191 million at the box office, making it the highest grossing film of that year. Wow. Absolutely amazing. Groundbreaking stuff, people. I'm telling you. So a little bit about Pixar, right? Why do they pilot or how do they pilot Toy Story, right, to becoming this amazing film that we all love and adore. So tracing it back to Steve Jobs, back in 1986, Jobs acquired the computer graphics division of Lucasfilm Limited. Hi, George Lucas, and renamed it Pixar Animation Studios. He remained CEO and majority shareholder at 50.1% until its acquisition by the Walt Disney Company on May 5th of 2006. Jobs became Disney's largest individual shareholder at 7% and a member of Disney's board of directors. He was credited in Toy Story as an executive producer. It's there in the opening sequence. Despite later having little to no involvement with Pixar productions, he is often credited under special thanks during the credits of Pixar's films. Because without Steve Jobs, you would not have Toy Story. Without Toy Story, you would not have any of the amazing standard of films, 3D animated films of Pixar, being the leader in 3D animated films. And then all the other companies wanted to jump on, like DreamWorks and others. Universal, I think. Did they? No, it was really, their competitor was DreamWorks, which is Universal to an extent, extension of Universal, because Spielberg, the whole spiel. So yeah, Pixar Animation, I think he named it. Yeah, Steve Jobs was one of the 3 founding fathers of Pixar Animation Studios. And it just made sense that I think he came up with the name of Pixar. I could be wrong with that. Only because, I mean, it makes sense that Pixar, pixel, computer, pixel, display. They're, play on words kind of thing. Let's see. What else do we got here? I remember as a kid I had a lifelike Buzz Lightyear action figure, and he was quite tall, actually. Like the ones that they are producing now from Toy Story 4, but that one I remember was a big time favorite of mine. And then I had different variations of Buzz Lightyear. And then when Toy Story 2 came out, there was a line of toys. I remember getting a few of those. Some that transformed. I had both Zurg and Buzz Lightyear, the transforming ones. Interesting time for toys. But yeah, man. Character design is something that I noticed. Even personality trait. I feel like, again, in the original Toy Story, it was very genuine. It was very sincere. It was, a small project. There was a lot of heart in it. But as the franchise was growing from 2 to 3 to 4, they were really starting to draw it out and really, like I said earlier, like force it versus letting it happen naturally. And simulate something. I don't know how to describe it really, but like the chemistry between the characters and stuff like that. Real quick, I was not happy in Toy Story 4. The portrayal of Buzz, like having his inner voice. Toy Story 4 in general, I was not super happy with. I think they should have just ended it at 3, call it a quits, because again, they were just really, really trying to milk it. I guess they're just, again, running out of ideas, and so they wanted to just, hey, let's just do Toy Story again, and try to make something of it. Sorry, back to the conversation about character design. You see the way they're being animated from each film, right? And of course, between each Toy Story, there's every other Pixar film that came out, Finding Nemo and Monsters Incorporated and The Incredibles. And with each film, the animators get the animation to be more lifelike. But I personally feel like the original Toy Story, the style of animation, being that they are toys, and their facial expressions, the way they are, was much better than what they were doing in 3, and then obviously in 4. They were really pushing it more and more to be more human-like and lifelike. But I don't know. I feel like Toy Story, the original, was just the way they did everything, the animation, the story itself, like, it was great. And then Toy Story 2 was an expansion on that, and they did a great job with that, but it's still, I feel like the first one was better. Number 3 was good. It could have been better in certain parts. I can't remember exactly, but I remember, I'm sure a lot of audiences felt this, when they were all going towards the hot fire pit, and it was like unstoppable, right? And they all looked at each other. You can see it in their expression, right? Their facial expression, like, this is it. This is the end. And you know, there is no turning back. And so they all started holding hands, and then literally at the last second, boom, beam of light, claw comes down, and they get saved. It's like, wow. And you almost felt like, oh my God, is this it? Is this how the toys are gonna go away? And it was so, you know, that moment was incredible. Everything else, I mean, I remember laughing really loudly, laugh out loud, when Mr. Potato Head was using the tortilla as a means to get around, and he was just flopping left and right. It was just hilarious. A lot of innuendos, inappropriate innuendos, I should say. Not good. They should not have put those in. But, you know, adults. It's meant for adults and kids alike. But yeah, I absolutely love Toy Story. Just its originality, its sincerity, it's warm, it's you know, a good story, you know, of two friends coming together and, you know, making things work, learning to share. So many lessons to derive from watching it. If you have not watched Toy Story, I would highly recommend it. Definitely, it's an amazing film. I'm actually getting a little thirsty. I haven't taken a sip yet. Alhamdulillah. Gotta have a cigar. Do not smoke, kids. This is not a cigar. This is a hazelnut chocolate wafer. Okay? It's not a cigar, but yeah. Love eating these things. Oh, man. Did y'all hear that? That was a dog outside. I want to watch it again, honestly. Like, Toy Story is just one of those movies. It's like, you can never not watch again and never get tired of, because it's just so amazing. Like, it's just so good. The writing, the dialogue, again, I'm going to keep saying it over and over. It's just really amazing. It's really, really good. And became an instant classic, you know? Tell me y'all's favorite Toy Story in the chat or in the comments down below. What was y'all's favorite Toy Story movie and why? Who's your favorite character? You know, I'd like to know. This has been a lot of fun, alhamdulillah. And I can't wait to continue this marathon of live streams that I'm doing just this week to wrap up season 3. Yesterday I did, you know, a live stream on how to subscribe to the channel. So if you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. And while you're there, like this live stream as well. And make sure you have that post notification turned on so you know when we are live again. And then today I had, you know, a month later, the 25th anniversary of Toy Story, a movie that we all love, that I love and cherish so much. For tomorrow is going to be an epic live stream, so make sure you are tuned in for that. I'm going to be talking about What is tomorrow's live stream? Yes, in my opinion, the best trilogies in cinema of all time. So make sure you are tuned in tomorrow at 7 p.m. And then on Thursday, Christmas Eve, we're going to be going over my favorite biopics of all time at 7 p.m. And then on Christmas Day, if you are subscribed and have that bell turned on, you will know that this coming Friday on Christmas, I'm going to be talking about my favorite Christmas movies. So make sure y'all are tuned in for that. If y'all enjoyed this live stream of Toy Story, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you hit that post notification down below. And I will see y'all in the next one. This is Mustafa Talib with Cinema King Productions, signing off.